Hello students, today we will discuss about the details of H2 blockers. The examples of H2 blockers are cimetidine, ranitidine, roxetidine and famotidine. Cimetidine, ranitidine and roxetidine show competitive antagonism, whereas famotidine shows non-competitive antagonism with H2 receptors. Now we will discuss the pharmacological actions of H2 blockers. The first action is the H2 receptor blockage. Cimetidine and other H2 blockers block histamine induced gastric secretion, cardiac stimulation, uterine relaxation, bronchial relaxation and fall in blood pressure. It means that all the actions which are induced by histamine are blocked by H2 blockers. However, they do not have effect on H1 mediated responses. All the responses which are mediated by H1 receptors, they do not have any effect on those responses. Now second effect is gastric secretion. These drugs inhibit the gastric secretion, especially basal nocturnal secretion of acid is suppressed. Basal nocturnal secretion means the acid secretion at the night time, that is suppressed. They also reduce the pepsin content and intrinsic factor secretion. Intrinsic factor secretion is important for the absorption of vitamin B12, but here the vitamin B12 absorption is not interfered. These drugs are anti-ulcerogenic. Gastric ulceration due to stress and drugs like non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. You have heard that non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs like aspirin can induce ulcers. So these drugs are anti-ulcerogenic, means they can reduce the gastric ulcers due to stress or any drug. There is 60 to 70% reduction of gastric acid secretion. They do not have direct effect on gastric or esophageal motility or the tone of lower esophageal sphincter. Tone of lower esophageal sphincter. The sphincter which is present at the lower part of the esophagus is known as lower esophageal sphincter. It has no effect on esophageal or gastric motility or the lower esophageal sphincter tone. So these are the actions, pharmacological actions. Now we will discuss about the pharmacokinetics. Pharmacokinetics of these drugs. So cimetidine is absorbed orally. Its bioavailability is 60 to 80% and its absorption is not interfered by the presence of food in the stomach. It can cross placenta, but it has poor penetration in brain, and its elimination half-life is 2 to 3 hours. Now coming to the adverse effects, this drug is well tolerated, but the common adverse effects of the drug are headache, dry mouth, dizziness, rashes, then confusion, restlessness. These are the CNS effects. Then IV injection, bolus IV injection can release the histamine and can cause bradycardia and arrhythmias and cardiac arrest. Therefore, it should be given by slow infusion. If you are giving in blood, then it should not be used by IV bolus injection. Rather, it should be given by slow infusion. Then this is important that cimetidine has anti-androgenic action, increases the plasma prolactin and inhibits the degradation of estradiol by liver, and therefore due to these effects high doses can cause gynecomastia and impotence. This adverse effect is seen only in the case of cimetidine and not the other H2 blockers. This is important. And the last adverse effect is it can elevate the plasma aminotransferase level. Then interactions. Cimetidine inhibits the metabolism of many drugs and increase their toxicity. For example, phenytoin, phenobarbital, sulfonylureas, warfarin and lidocaine, etc. The metabolism of all these drugs is inhibited and their toxicity may be increased by cimetidine. Then second interaction is with antacids. Antacids reduce the absorption of all H2 blockers. You might have heard that when we are using these drugs, H2 receptor blockers, then antacids are also given along with these drugs. But if they are given along with H2 blockers, then there should be a gap of 2 hours because these drugs reduce the absorption of H2 blockers. So these are the adverse effects. Now there are some differences between ranitidine and cimetidine. The other drug of this class is ranitidine. Ranitidine is 5 times more potent than cimetidine. It has no anti-androgenic effect. Permeability is less into brain. It does not inhibit metabolism of other drugs, and overall side effects are less as compared to cimetidine. Last, we will discuss the uses of H2 blockers. The first uses, they are used in the duodenal ulcer, they are used for the treatment of gastric ulcer, then gastritis. Then next use is Zollinger-Ellison syndrome. It is a gastric hypersecretory state due to rare tumor secreting gastrin. This syndrome is the tumor disease in which it is a tumor in which there is the more release of gastrin, and whenever gastrin is released in excess amount, then it can stimulate the proton pump, and there may be excessive release of a gastric HCl. Then next is gastroesophageal reflux disease. Gastroesophageal reflux disease. These drugs are used in reducing the acidity of gastric contents that are refluxed. It means whenever the gastric contents try to move back towards esophagus, it can cause esophageal erosions, or you have experienced sometimes heartburn. So in that condition, that is known as gastroesophageal reflux disease. In that condition also H2 blockers are effective. And the last use is prophylaxis of aspiration pneumonia. H2 blockers can be used pre-operatively to reduce the risk of aspiration of acidic contents into lungs during anesthesia and surgery. Whenever there is surgery or operation, then to reduce the risk of aspiration of the acidic contents into lungs, these drugs can be used. So this is all about the details of H2 blockers, and in the next class we will discuss the other drugs.